Good evening, everybody. And today we're going to be talking about Aiden Markram's captaincy. And I thought that this would be a nice stepping stone into a discussion that I feel we should maybe be having when it comes to our captaincy situation, when it comes to the white ball captaincy in particular, especially with the fact that we have so many white ball tournaments happening over the next couple of years or so within close proximity of each other. So I think that we should maybe put a spotlight on the captaincy a bit and discuss what we feel should happen with regards to the captaincy. Should South Africa go with a new captain in the ODI format, seeing that the Champions Trophy is up next? And then with that build till the 2027 World Cup, and as well talking about the next T20 World Cup, keeping that consistency across all white ball cricket. Or should we make a change? Or should we keep what we have in the ODI format with Temba Bavuma and change what we have with regards to that 50 over format and bring in Aiden Markram? But I'm going to start off the show just talking a little bit about the captaincy that we witnessed in the T20 World Cup this time around. First ever captain to reach a final. So I think that's something that we need to speak about and something that I think we need to address when it comes to the captaincy in white ball cricket for South Africa. I think that our test arena is settled, and I think that we have a plan with regards to that. I think Coach Shukri will have a plan on what will happen after Temba. And now that we have Temba, I don't think there is a massive need to change it with regards to the red ball format. But there are some question marks perhaps in the 50 over format with regards to the captaincy. But I'm going to be talking about it and giving my views on it and what I feel with regards to the white ball captaincy in general. But we're going to start off the show first and foremost, obviously talking about Aiden's captaincy in the T20 World Cup, what we think was special about it, whether we do think it was special or not, or whether it wasn't. But before we get going with today's show, before we get started, I would like you guys to please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. It's important that you guys subscribe. Like I said, we recently reached a new milestone. We hit that 5,000 subscriber mark, and I think that was a brilliant milestone for us. The next milestone will obviously be the 10K mark, so help me get there by subscribing. But how you can also help me get there is by liking this video and also commenting on this video and sharing it, particularly when we end the stream. After we've done streaming, it's really been helping the our videos with regards to the algorithm when you guys comment in the comment section. Our last few shows have been doing extraordinarily well on YouTube because of the comments and the liking of the video that has been taking place from you guys. So please continue doing so. I enjoy the conversation. I will try to respond to any questions that are particularly addressed to me. I don't necessarily always respond to every single comment that is just to the general public, because a lot of comments that are made on the videos are just a general comment. So that's something that I would like to just address when it comes to this as well. And I will try to respond to the comments that are directly asked to me, particularly on the videos. We have a digital magazine. It's a monthly magazine that goes straight to your inbox every single month. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. Please subscribe to that as well. That is how you can also show your support. But not only that, it's a digital magazine that will give you guys amazing exclusive content and insider information, as well as improve your, I would say, your knowledge on the game as well. It will challenge it as well as improve it. We try to give you guys a different look at certain topics, a different insight, and there's always amazing exclusive content within that magazine that you won't get anywhere else. So please go ahead and subscribe to get that. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. I'm looking forward to discussing this topic with you guys. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your live cricket show. I'm your host, Khalid Moedin, and this is the show where we discuss everything that has to do with Aiden Markram's captaincy. And it's particularly about Aiden Markram's captaincy within the T20 World Cup. But the big question that I'm going to ask everybody, and I'm going to put a poll quickly: should Aiden be white? Should Aiden Markram be white ball captain for both formats? I'm just going to put up a poll quickly for you guys. The big question will be in ODI cricket as well. Should Aiden Markram be captain in ODI? So I'm going to be throwing that in the poll in, so you guys can vote for that and let me know what you guys think. Um, the It's a big question because it means that we're going to have to discuss both captains, and that's what we're going to have to do on today's show. So I want you guys to please go ahead and do so. I've just put the poll in the live chat, but let's start. For first and foremost, I think we should start by discussing Aiden Markram's captaincy first and foremost. I think that's the first place that we should start with this. And I'm going to start this conversation with something that took place recently. There were some comments made about Aiden's captaincy. And I'm going to discuss that right with you and share that quote with you guys, because it's always nice to see what other legends of the game, etc., have said about players. And recently, Graham Smith spoke to SA20 and the SA20 content team, and he gave his comments on the T20 World Cup. Now, if you guys want to see this particular article, you can go to cricketfanaticsmag.com and see the full article with all his quotes about it. I'm just going to pull out the quotes about Aiden's captaincy in particular. And this is what Smith had to say. Smith wished to congratulate Proteas men's T20 captain Aiden Markram on a superb leadership skills for the tournament. Aiden was particularly good during the tournament. He was tactically astute, had good plans, and was brave enough to make the big calls and then get all players to commit to it. We have, of course, seen Aiden captain in this manner before over the course of the past two Betway SA20 seasons, leading the Sunrisers Eastern Cape to back championship titles. But now he has transferred this experience to international arena. So that is what he had to say about Aiden Markram's captaincy. Now I want to pull out this particular sentence right here. He was tactically astute, had good plans, and was brave enough to make big calls, and then get that all get all the players to commit to it. I think that's the key. That's the key aspect of this whole particular mindset when it comes to Aiden Markram. What I saw from him in this T20 tournament is the ability to be able to bring a group of players together from different ages, from different backgrounds, bring them all together and to believe in his plan. He was very brave, yes, with his decisions. I think his decisions to change bowlers at specific times, but also to back certain players, even if they did have a difficult spell. He showed belief in them to give them another go, another over. Particularly, I'm talking now with him managing his bowlers. But I also think what he did brilliantly is setting the fields correctly to the bowler's strengths. That is the key over here, I feel, out of everything else. He set certain fields, but also the right fields for particular batters that he knew was facing. And I saw those changes being made. I was sitting watching some of the games and I was like, this is a chance to also bring yourself on here, Aiden. Maybe bowl yourself. And he did so in particular periods in the game. He wasn't scared to bring himself on as a bowler and give himself that challenge to be able to bowl to the correct guys at the correct times, particularly when there was a right left hand combination. You want the off spinner to bowl to the left handers, and he put himself under that pressure by doing so in quite a few games. Now, could he have done it more throughout this World Cup? I think he could. The the amount of pressure that takes off the likes of Marco Janssen and maybe other younger guys in the team, they don't feel the pressure then to have to bowl for all their 4 overs. You kind of take them out of the take the pressure off them by bowling himself. So he did that, I felt, at the right times. He also utilized Keshav Maharaj brilliantly and Tabraiz Shamsi. Tabraiz wasn't overly expensive in this T20 World Cup. He was brought in at the right times when he was utilized in the right stages of the game, and he was effective majority of the times. He was also very brave in his decisions with KG. We know that there was he didn't bowl KG. I think it was against Afghanistan. He didn't bowl KG right until the end of the game. Was it against Afghanistan? I think it was. I'm not 100% sure when exactly it was, but there was a game where he didn't bowl KG right until the end. And he kept KG until the end and utilized other bowlers that were really doing well at the time and finding their rhythm, etc. So I think those type of decisions you want to see from a captain, braveness. But there is one criticism I have for him because this isn't something that we haven't necessarily seen. Temba Bavuma at the T20 World Cup also captained the team extremely well, utilized his bowlers extremely well, fielded exceptionally well, kept the spirit in the team at a high level. But the one criticism about Temba was his batting, and people criticized him as a whole because of it. And I think it's only fair that we criticize Aiden Markram because his batting hasn't necessarily been that great in white ball cricket, in T20 cricket, or in white ball cricket, similarly to Temba Bavuma. So that is a criticism. And I do feel that if Aiden wants to hold on to the captaincy as a white ball captain, he needs to improve his runs. He needs to improve his scoring when it comes to that. Now it comes to the question. Should Aiden Markram take over from Temba as the ODI captain? Temba Bavuma and Aiden Markram, they both have stellar records in South Africa with a bat. There's not a lot that differentiates the two players when it comes to batting in South Africa. Batting overseas, though, in Asia particularly, Pakistan is the only place that Aiden Markram has performed. He has an average, I think, of over 50 in Pakistan, but they've only played 3 games there. Temba didn't play in Pakistan. Temba only has 30 plus games as in the ODI team. His Asia record isn't that good, so is Aiden Markram's not that good. But the question now remains whether we should change the captaincy in ODI. Temba got us to a semi-final. I know he was injured, and then Aiden took over, and he actually won 2 games as a captain in the T20 in the ODI World Cup. That also added to his record as a captain when it comes to knockout tournaments, going from the ICC under 19 event, where he won 6 games out of 6 and won the trophy, to 8 games won in this particular tournament. And then obviously those 2 games in the 2023 World Cup as well as a captain. So his record of winning games as a captain is really good. But now comes the big question. Is it necessary to change the captain in the 50 over format? Now, that all depends on a 33-year-old in Temba Bavuma and how long he's going to be playing for South Africa, and whether Temba Bavuma can keep up his form with 50 over in the 50 over game now this season. I think that's going to be the big question. Aiden Markram really needs to improve his 50 over game. He only averages 30 odd in ODI cricket. So he really needs to up his 50 over game and his record in 50 over cricket. Should we put that extra pressure on him? Because I feel that in the ODI team, his spot in the team is so crucial and important when he's batting at 3 or 4. And they're going to have to make major decisions on what they're going to do with the ODI side with that number 3-4 position. Are they going to bring in someone like Tristan Stubbs into the mix and then bat him in that 4 position and then bat Aiden at 3, or they're going to bring Rassie back into the mix again? We've got the Champions Trophy. that's coming up next. I showed you guys the fixtures recently. It's here on the screen right now. We've got the Champions Trophy next year. And then we've got the February 2026, we've got a T20 World Cup again. I'm starting to think that it wouldn't be a bad thing to allow Temba to focus fully on his 50 over game and getting his stats up there. And because he gets into the team with a bat anyway, and keep the consistency in white ball cricket by having one captain. I think that isn't a bad idea at all. I can see us keeping maybe Temba for also for another year for the Champions Trophy at least, and then we have Aiden, and then you're gonna have to change the World Cup captain then in 2027. So do you want to have that continuity? Because I think they have to think ahead a little bit. By the time the 2027 World Cup kicks in, Temba will be 35 years old. So he's going to be a lot older. Is he still going to be the person that we're going to rely on at the top of the order? Because we don't have Quentin de Kock anymore. So we're going to have to start building a new side. And I do feel that I'm going to be consistent with regards to what I said about Aiden in the T20 format. I do feel he's the perfect wedge for the new generation and the old. He has respect in both camps. He's been an idol for many that are younger, and he's a bridge, I feel, between the younger generation and the older generation. I personally would like to see some consistency with regards to the T20 to the white ball format. But I don't think that Temba Bavuma has done anything wrong to lose the captaincy for the Champions Trophy. So um, that is something that is the big thing. And I don't think that Temba, if he loses the captaincy, doesn't deserve a spot in the 50 over side. He should be picked in the side on his form. He averages 45 in or 46 in 50 over cricket. I think this is going to be a key factor when it comes to Temba Bavuma this season. This domestic season is going to be so key for Temba Bavuma because he really needs to show that his ability with the bat can be maintained and that he can bring that form because he had a very disruptive time. He had a very, very disruptive time. He's actually 34 now. So he's going to be 36, 37 by the time the 2037, 36 by the time the 2027 World Cup kicks in. So there's going to be question marks around him and whether we should just build for the future. If we are going to build for the future, then Aiden Markram should be the next white ball captain. If we are going to go with consistency, um, and if we're going to go with a new, fresh, young team, with a, then I think that Aiden should take over the captaincy. But Aiden needs to also prove himself with the bat. So he needs to get into the team with form, with a bat. That's going to be the key factor when it comes to this. Both players are not in the best of form, hasn't been in the best of form in recent times in white ball cricket. Both players. And Aiden Markram's career in white ball cricket, there is a question mark over it. So that's going to be the big question when it comes to the Champions Trophy. So I'm not taking, I'm not going to be strongly saying yes or no because I'm not putting the two players against each other because I don't think there's much in it between the two. To be frankly honest, it all will be dependent on the direction that they go. So when Rob Walter picks his next ODI team, and we know that it's going to have a lot of senior players in, then I would stick with Temba Bavuma. But if he's going to switch things around and start to give some newer guys an opportunity, I will make Aiden Markram the captain. But then it's critical that both players are going to be available for 50 over cricket and play as many ODIs as possible for South Africa. And that's going to be the key factor going into the 2027 World Cup. So those things all need to be thought about because the Champions Trophy for me is like a preparation for that World Cup in 2027. That's how it should be looked at. We should start seeing the blueprints of what we're going to see in 2027 already in the Champions Trophy next year. So those are my thoughts on the two captains. I think they're both brilliant captains, and there's not a lot in it when it comes to captaincy. What's going to come into question is the importance of each player in the side. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to have to do when it comes to this. And I do think that it's going to be 100% also detrimental to the team that both players become, find themselves in form. That's going to be a crucial one. They both need to find form. I think form is way more important when it comes to 50 over cricket than it is in T20 cricket. So their form is going to be integral when it comes to this. Can they even get into the side on their batting alone? I feel that they need to get in the team on their batting first, and then we can decide on a captain. That's how it should work. I don't think it should work in the other way around. Select the captain and then hope that they get into form. These players need to show their capabilities and consistency in the format before we decide whether they're going to be captain or not. So I do think there's a lot of work to do there. I do think that there's a lot of decisions that Coach Rob is going to need to make with regards to the captaincy and with regards to these two players. So let me get into the live chat and see what you guys have had to say. Dex said, still can't believe how we lost that match, man. That World Cup win would have changed my life. It would have changed all of our lives. Sharath says, Aiden to captain ODI as well. Thanks to Temba for all the help and support until today. Sam says, to be honest, I think they will back Pavuma as ODI captain, which is not a good move if you are looking for future. Aiden did excellent job as skipper. He just needs to find form. Also, AB also says this in his show. I'm not really worried about what AB is saying. Bevan says Markram should be captain. His captaincy is awesome, and the players love following him and his ideas. But we all know Temba Bavuma will remain captain because of World Cup 27 in South Africa and a Black African captain in our home World Cup. I don't think that the decision should be solely made on the color of his skin. That's not how we should be approaching any of this. NY Times, or Sam says, I think now they should move from Temba as captain from ODI, give Aiden Markram to the captain. Looks Temba's age is already 34. How are they going to look in him as a future? Aiden Markram should be permanent white ball captain. But Aiden Markram also needs to show his form in the 50 over format before we can decide whether he's going to be captain or not. Unfortunately, his 50 over game hasn't been that good for South Africa. And he's going to have to show that form and get himself into the team first. It's all going to be dependent on how much they're going to rely on experience and how much they're going to rely on a fresh, brand new team that they're going to build towards that 2027 World Cup. NY Times case says Aiden should be captain in all formats. Pavuma is old and already has a lot of fitness issues. The fitness issues is a little bit of an issue. That's something that they do need to consider when it comes to this. Bevan says, what Smith said is what I just said before you brought up this article. He says, let's give him props on bowling 3 overs in the power play against the West Indies. Sperling is a very good decision. NY Times Square says, Temba, Rassie, Quinton, maybe Miller, all should make way for some youngsters in 27 World Cup. Should focus on few players. Let's not forget, under Temba, we lost twice to the Netherlands. That's also very, very true. Wonderboy says, Khalil, I believe both Temba and Aiden are tactically astute, but we need Aiden more with the bat as his numbers are not good. We need Aiden more with the bat. Aiden's numbers in ODI cricket is not that good at the moment. Temba averages 47 in ODI cricket. And yes, it's less games. And Aiden, he averages, let's bring that up. Aiden averages 30 something. So it is 36 in ODI cricket. So Aiden really needs to improve his batting performances if he wants to be selected. Please smash that like button on your way in, everybody. Official Steven Seagal says maybe make Pavuma our frontline spinners. What? Sealer, batter, captain, and coach. Okay, he's been sarcastic. Champions Trophy likely to be 20 over due to sponsors and broadcasting lost in 23 World Cup. Interesting. So even obviously then there's no discussion. Um, if that's the case and it's going to be a T20 instead of a 50 over, then I'll go with Aiden as captain in ODI cricket and start building for that future in the 2027 World Cup, because there's no guarantee that Temba Bavuma is going to be there based on his age and his injury record recently. I think that's the problem. But we can't be writing players off. We need to give Temba a chance. I think he's deserved an opportunity to prove that he prove that he can keep his spot in the 50 over format. Wonder Boy Temba must learn to use Aiden as a bowling option. That's very true. Bevan says they will keep Temba for World Cup 27 in SA because they want to milk documentaries like Sia. I don't think that is in their mentality at the moment. Dex says there should only be one white ball captain. Viraj Havan says Temba can continue till Champions Trophy. I hope I pronounced that correctly. It's a mouthful. Pale Blue Dot says, like a documentary, you need to win trophies like rugby. That's 100% true. Joseph Van Heerden says, are we rewarding out of form players with captaincy? Hypocrites. I did say that they both need to show form. And if none of them show form, then we need to pick someone else as captain. It's as simple as that. I don't think that players should be selected on for captaincy alone. They should also perform. And Aiden has proved himself in T20 cricket. He just had a bad spell of fixtures in a row now. He's been in a bad to perform. But over the last few years, before he was selected as captain, he was in great form in the T20 format. Joseph says post Markram stats over 5 years and you'll see he's definitely a decline. Will Markram ever see 40 average in a format? I highly doubt it. You want to remove 45 average Babuma for 35 average Markram. That's not what I said at all. So please, yeah, I didn't say that at all. I actually said that they both need to show form. Jagannath says Temba should retire from white ball format and concentrate on red ball format. Red ball cricket is his best format at the moment. I don't think any changes should be made there with regards to red ball cricket. Temba should focus on red ball captaincy, says Dex. Wilbur says, hi Khalid, what do you think of the Champions Trophy becoming a 16-team knockout tournament like the FA Cup? That sounds interesting. It depends, obviously, what type of format it's going to be, whether it's going to be a T20 or ODI games, because ODI 16-team knockout ODI tournament, it's crazy. You only get one opportunity and one chance to show yourself. That's a massive, massive call if that's going to happen. It will be quite exciting to see, but then it's going to put a hell of a lot of teams in a lot of pressure. Under a lot of pressure. You got one game, and if you lose it, you're out. That's madness. It sounds exciting, but very, very, very harsh. Khalid Temba has not been in any form. He was miserable in the last World Cup, keeping in sight of 2027 World Cup. It's better we look ahead and get over. Temba, says Sarath. Wonderful says age is not a major issue. Rohit just won a World Cup at 37 and will still lead the ODI and test. So I don't understand the future debate. No, it's all dependable on whether Temba can stay fit. Rohit hasn't had the same amount of fitness issues. And serious fitness issues like Temba has had. Temba's had serious fitness issues that has left him out of a lot of games and a lot of matches. And it seems to be reoccurring type of injuries. So that fitness factor is going to play a massive part in it. Yurav says in bilateral Timber is beast with the bat. Unfortunately, Timber's form in the World Cup is not great, and we saw that recently Aiden Markram's form hasn't been great either. So we need to be equal in our criticism. Aiden Markram didn't perform in this World Cup with the bat, and he needs to do better at that. And he also needs to get in some form in T20 cricket in general, and he also needs to get into form in 50 over cricket in general. So there is a lot of work by both players in this particular um, in this regard. SA have a really good chance to play WTC final. When will you make live about Test cricket? Very, very soon, bro. I can't wait to start talking about Test cricket. That's my favorite format. I just wanted to deal with this problem before we start talking about the Test, because we are going to the West Indies very, very soon. So we're going to start building up to the Test series over the next weeks and the next few days. So that's definitely going to happen over the next few days, bros and guys and ladies and gentlemen. Sarath says we're going to keep making similar mistakes, carrying passengers to World Cups, two T20s, and last year 50 over. Temba ruined it, and this was time was Riza. We should learn from these lessons. Players go out to form. It happens. Virat Kohli was in terrible form, but then performed in the final. It takes one match to change it, turn it around. So those things can happen. Um, Official Steven Seagal says, no, don't dare talk about Riza. He's hardly zero. No, the Riza didn't perform in this particular tournament, and I'm going to be frank and obvious about it. Riza Hendricks himself will be very critical about his performance. We need to after every tournament. I feel we need to press like almost like the reset button and allow these players to play themselves back into contention. That's how we should build the World Cups. It shouldn't be, okay, you had a good World Cup, you automatically get picked in the next one. That's not how it works. These players need to reprove themselves again, because whatever player comes through the system that is really in great form and is playing amazing cricket and deserves their spot in the side, they should be picked. That's how it should work. And I think we should press the reset button, even when it comes to Riza Hendricks. And we need to pick the next player that finds form. If Ryan Rickleton was finding form before this World Cup and Riza wasn't, I would have gone with Ryan Rickleton 100%, because I would have picked the guy that is on form. But Riza was in great form and Ryan wasn't. That was an easy decision then to make. If they're both in great form, then I would go with a player that's going to be the most adaptable to the situation and has the most experience in that situation. Then that's what I'm going to do. Who can read the conditions better? Who is more familiar with the conditions? That's how I will try to do it when it comes to two players straight in the same form. So after these performances, those players need to reprove themselves again and put their hand up for selection spot. And we might not. With Quinton de Kock situation, we have to decide what's going to happen with Quinton de Kock. David Miller already made it very clear that he's not going to retire. He wants to play on as long as he can. We're not sure about Quinton and where Quinton's mind is when it comes to international T20 cricket. So that is something that we also need to have. We know a solid opening for ODI team, and we don't have much time before Champions Trophy. Khalid, Song, Khalid, you have any one in mind? Solid opening for ODI team, and we don't have much time before Champions Trophy. Khalid, do you have anyone in mind for the opening position? I think Ryan Rickleton has to put up his hand as an opener in the 50 over format as well. I think that's going to have to be the direction we go with the left hand, right hand combination with Timba and Ryan up top. I think that needs to be thought about. Um, I'm going to pick a 50 over team based on based on all the internationals that happen, as well as what happens domestically as well. I think those decisions are going to have to be made. But the first name that comes to mind is probably Rickleton, and keep that left hand, right hand combination. And also, you have a keeper in the mix there as well. So, that is my thoughts on that. Roderick says Riza only performed in bilateral, which is useless. Teams are no longer finding strong teams in bilateral. Players who fail in SA20 should not be selected unless they have a good records like the cock. Excel says Temba should be dropped in ODI, rather he should retire because of his form. Proteas lost in semi in 2023. Temba in the team means 0-1 from ball 1. And that's the thoughts on the two captains for now. So let me read out what the results have been in the poll. Um, so the poll, Jesus, still loading. To end of the stream right now, I'm going to say, read out the poll quickly and say what the current poll situation is. It's taking so long to load. Gee whiz. So out of 45 votes, uh, 93% of you have said that Aiden Markram should be made ODI captain, and 7% of you have said no. So that's how the poll is sitting. So overwhelmingly 90%. Oh, yes, flipping out. Lisa, spot on. Spot on. I forgot about it. Tony DeZorzi. So Tony DeZorzi, but he was batting at 3. But Tony DeZorzi should be moved up as an opener. Um, and then we've got an option of maybe playing Ryan Rickleton and perhaps at 4, or Tristan Stubbs at 4. Those are going to have to be the players that they're going to have to decide on. I think, Lisa, that's a good shout for the opening spot with Temba or whoever they're going to pick as the opener based. I think that's also going to have to be based on form. But if they don't change the captain, they're obviously going to pick Temba as the opener. So that's obviously going to be the factor. I ever think that every player should now have a chance to show what their worth is and have an opportunity to prove that, and see what's going to happen with regards to that. Tushka, what's your take on the West Indies tour? I will do a whole show on the West Indies tour. We will start doing content now over the next week to discuss the West Indies tour. So don't worry, guys. We're going to be starting to talk about Test cricket very, very soon, especially given South Africa's um, fixtures coming up. We are going to be focusing on the best format of the game, which is obviously red ball cricket, in my opinion. So that is something that we're going to have to do. Um, Aditya says, Khalid, if you have to compare who was more worse with the bat between Aiden and Temba in World Cups. Well, Temba didn't play much in the last World Cup, which was the big problem. So obviously Temba did worse and Aiden was better. But I don't want to be picking on that low bar. I'd prefer to pick players on that are, if they're both in form, and then decide, rather than having players picking the best between the worst, if you understand what I mean. Shirashis Bavuma should only focus on test cricket now. He's not white ball player. He's only good on flat tracks and always fails in ICC international tournaments. Aiden Markram deserves to be captain of white ball format, but he also needs to perform in white ball tournaments. Okay, he did perform really well in 2023 World Cup, I think. So that is a massive booster for him in that regard. So, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in to this particular show. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and that we got that out of the way. We will be doing a little bit more dive in details in particular topics over the next week to discuss things, and leading up to the West Indies tour. We will be building for that as well. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to please subscribe and click that notification bell for all future videos. Please smash the like button And after we've done streaming and we end the stream, please go into the comment section and comment there too. Let me know what your thoughts are and who you think should be the captain for white ball cricket and why. Let me know in the comment section at the end of this video. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace out, everyone.